Hello and welcome to my makeup inventory for 2022. This is my first official makeup inventory on my channel and I'm really excited to share with you all the numbers, all the data. We're going to look at each category and whether I'm kind of happy at where it's currently at, if I would like to reduce the amount of items I have in each area, or if I have a bit more flexibility or interest to grow and try out some other products in those different areas, especially different makeup that I'm getting a lot of value or I enjoy using maybe more than other items. And yeah, I just think doing an inventory is quite a fun thing to do. I really recommend it as well if you're doing a no buy or low buy, to get a good sense of everything you have, kind of have a bit of a game plan on maybe how you want to use up and get the most out of the items that's already in your collection. We spend a lot of time looking at all the fancy new things we want to accumulate, and therefore we kind of get distracted and forget to use and get really good value out of everything we already have, not just in terms of getting our money's worth or really enjoying using the product, but actually there's a resource that you have and I think it's important and it's our responsibility to really use it and not let things just go to waste. So with that all said, we're going to jump in and I'm going to share with you all the lovely items that I have and where I'm currently at. So the first area I thought I would include, although I'm not going to include it in my final totals at the end of the video, is my makeup brushes. So I currently have 25 brushes, mostly ColourPop ones that I purchased last year. I also have a couple of Zoeva ones and a hand-me-down brush that I received, or 3 hand-me-down brushes, and some others that I purchased back in the beginning of 2020 when I bought my first ever eyeshadow palette. So I have 25 brushes and then I also have 1 pencil sharpener. So those are like my makeup utensils, if you will, and I thought I would just include that because maybe in the future I'd like to know, like, I wonder how much my brush collection has grown. Although I do feel like that's a perfect number, I definitely don't really need any more brushes. So in no particular order, we're going to start with concealer. I currently have 4 different concealers. I am project panning this Mecca Max concealer. I also have Marc Jacobs Extra Shot, a Color Fix concealer, and then a Maybelline one. So I mean, I feel like having 2 would be more than enough concealer for me. I don't really use it too much except for as an eyelid primer or under my eyes and maybe for a spot or 2. I don't wear foundation or anything, so it's not like face products in terms of like skin color face products. It's just not something I get much use out of. So bringing it down to 2 would be more than plenty for me. The next is lid primer. So I have 3 lid primers and then I have 1 face primer as well. So these are the 3 I have. I do have quite a few of like random things in different categories, and that's mostly because my collection came from hand-me-downs from my good friend Zila. So I took things that I knew that I would eventually make my way through, so that's why I have so many lid primers. I didn't buy these ones. So I have 3 lid primers and then I also have 1 face primer, but I would like to finish up the face primer. I've kind of been just using it as a lid primer, and then also only have 1 lid primer all up because often I just use my concealer anyway, so I feel like it's not something I desperately need. Next area is brows. I have 5 items in the brow category. I have 3 sort of gel products, including this pot, and then I have 2 brow pencils. I would like to bring this down to maybe 2, so like 1 brow pencil and 1 brow gel, because this is way more than I actually need. So I'm currently panning this little sample one and I'm just going to make my way through these products and bring it down to a more manageable amount because I've only got 2 eyebrows. I don't need 5 eyebrow products. The next area is lip pencils. I have 2. They just kind of match with some of the lipstick colors I have. I feel like I would be open to maybe bringing 1 or 2 more lip pencils in to my collection, but this is kind of plenty for now. It's what's working, and it's not, I don't gravitate toward lip pencils that often. It's sort of just more like every now and again. It's not every single time I put lipstick on. The next area is lip gloss. I have 3. I feel like I'm pretty happy with that. I am currently trying to pan this lip gloss. I would be open to maybe having 1 or 2 more, but honestly I think 3 is more than enough lip glosses. Now for lipsticks, I have 7 different lip products. Wait, I'm missing one. Here's the other one. I have 7 different lip products in my collection, and I am pretty happy with that. I mean, I kind of would prefer to maybe have like 5. I do want to just use everything up first before I bring anything else new. I kind of want to experiment a bit more in the lip category, but not until I've used up everything I have first, just because I do know that lip products go off. So there's 2 that I have here that are pretty close to being finished because I've been using these in my Project Pan series. I then probably want to use this lip stain up next because it's the oldest in my collection. And then I have these 2 Colourpop lipsticks that are in these nude shades. So I would want to use one of them up because I don't think I need to have 2 nude lipsticks because it's not something I tend to wear the most often. I prefer more like reds or like berry kind of colors. So that is all of my lipsticks, and yeah, bringing that down to 5, somewhere in that ballpark. But if you do have any good lipstick brands or lip products you'd recommend, I'd love to know in the comments because it is an area that I would like to explore more in the future. Just want to use up what I have first. Then we have bronzer. I have 2 individual bronzers, Physicians Formula one, and then also this little NARS, I think it's like a mini bronzer. So those are 2, but then I also have 2 more in my face palette from Colourpop. So in total, there is 4 bronzers. I would like to bring that down to 2 just because I don't tend to wear bronzer very often. So it's way more than I actually need. So those are all of the bronzers. Then for blush, I have 3 individual blushes. So I have this Oden's Eye one, I have a Palm Spring one, and then I have this other little one in the tin. And then I also have 1 blush here in the Colourpop face palette, and then I have 2 blushes in this Tarte Face Trio thing as well. So in total, that gives me 6 blushes, definitely a lot. I feel like I would like to play with blush more and maybe try other brands, but I currently have 6 and none of these blushes really spark a lot of joy. I want to use them up and get a lot of use out of them first, and then I would be excited to maybe try some other blush products or other blush brands. So that is 6 in total. The next area is highlights. So I have a total of 7 highlighters in my collection, which is quite a lot and definitely way more than one needs. So I have these ones here. These are all individual highlighters. I have hit pan on one. I'm currently trying to pan this little one here as well. And then I did purchase these 2 Becca highlighters last year. These are the most recent ones to my collection. And then these ones here were through donation. So I really love highlighter. It's something I really enjoy playing with. I have 7 individuals, and then I do have 3 more through these face palettes. So that means I have 10 highlighters, which is kind of a lot. And I do get excited about highlighter. It's definitely something I enjoy, and I actually enjoy the highlighters that are already currently in my collection. I'd like to half that though. I think I want to bring it down to 5 highlighters because 10 is a lot. It's going to take me a while to use them. I've been trying to use them a bit as eyeshadow as well, and in different ways just to work my way through them. The next area I have is eyeliner. So I have 2 eyeliners. These are both from NYX, and it's just like a lighter purple and a darker purple. I would like to maybe try a brown eyeliner as well, because just be interesting to play around with some different kinds, but I'm pretty happy with that amount. Next area is mascara. I have 3 mascaras. So this one is pretty much finished. I'm ready to part ways with it. I've had it for way too long. And then I have this one. It's a waterproof one from Milk. And then this other one, which will be the next one I move on to. But I feel like, you know, 2 highlighters, one that's open and one that's kind of a backup, is plenty. I don't really want to have lots of mascaras open at once, and it's not something that I get really, I don't know, excited about, or like, wow, look at these fancy things. So the next area I have is setting spray, which is a bit of a random one, but I have these 3. It's kind of hard to tell how empty or full these 2 setting sprays are because they're aerosols. I feel like this one is finished, but, or like nearly finished, but I keep using it and it just keeps going. So I don't know, I want to finish this one up and then actually bring this down to just having one setting spray. It's not something I use every single time I wear my makeup, but it is a very useful tool to have, especially to like set my eyeshadow so it doesn't move around too much. And then we have 2 sample products, which I don't know if I'm going to include in a makeup inventory, but I'm going to anyway. So I have these 2 blush samples from Glossier, and I have nearly finished with this sample card, and then I want to use up this one as well. And I would like to maybe get a Cloud Paint blush in the future because I actually have had quite a bit of fun working with these 2. And then last but not least is eyeshadow palettes, the thing that brings a lot of joy into my life. So this is my full eyeshadow palette collection. I have 9 different ones. 3 of them are kind of like bigger eyeshadow palettes, and then the others are like much smaller 9 pans or 6 pans. So let's go through them all. First, I have 2 ColourPop eyeshadow palettes. I've got the Making Marv's and the That's Taupe. So those look like this, which you've probably seen if you've seen any makeup inventory videos. I feel like they're quite common palettes. I then have the e.l.f. Sunset palette that I got for Christmas, and I haven't really had much time to play with this one, but I'm looking forward to using it in the coming year. I have this Natasha Denona Peak palette. This is a 5-pan palette that is also pretty beautiful. We then have the Fenty Beauty palette. This was the first ever makeup palette that I actually purchased with my own money. So it was in my project pan last year for 3 months, so I have gotten quite a good amount of usage out of it, and I currently have 7 pans in this palette, so that is fun. I'm very happy to be able to use and play with that one. I have the Subculture palette. That was a recent purchase at the end of 2021 in December. It was a bit of a makeup breakdown, it was a bit of a no-buy breakdown in TJ Maxx, but I am still very happy and grateful to have this palette in my collection. I then have the Huda Beauty Coral Obsessions palette. This is another 9-pan palette as well. So that is that one there. I have the Theory Viseart palette. So that's a 6-pan palette. This is also in my current project pan. And then I have the Iconic London palette, which I'm not going to open because it will have a spoiler for my project pan update. But this is another one that I have been using and enjoying. I've really been enjoying doing my project panning, and especially doing this eyeshadow roulette that's a part of that series, because it means that I'm getting a bit more creative and dipping into colors that maybe I wouldn't necessarily gravitate to, which is always a good time to, yeah, push yourself, experiment and play around. Last but not least is my single shadows. So I have the ColourPop Super Shock in Acorn, and then I also have this single Natasha Denona, and I have one other single eyeshadow, and that is this little white one in my face palette, because I just put it there because there was space for it to fit, and I thought it, you know, would be a useful one to have. So that was everything in my makeup inventory. So I have a grand total of 67 items. I'm happy with that. I feel like that's not too bad. I would like to eventually bring it down to under 50 as my ultimate goal. And I forgot to mention, with the eyeshadow palettes, I currently have 9, and I would be interested in maybe growing that area to between like 10 and 15 I would feel comfortable with, just because I do really love eyeshadow. I have a lot of fun playing with it and getting creative and just trying out different things. That was everything, so I hope you found it interesting in some way. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!